Hello everyone. Today I will be teaching you the very basic and when or how to start to become a programmer. So we will start with HTML. The easiest entry point is to start with becoming a web developer. And web development, then you can move to two other um is it called sectors or other um part of engineering or software engineering, like embedded systems, mobile development, database, so on and so forth. So here we're going to start with HTML. So this is like the very basic kindergarten level. So HTML, you need HTML, you need to practice HTML so that you will exercise how to structure data for presentation. So HTML is considered the presentation layer. Um, in software development, there's like it's commonly divided into like three layers, or sometimes it's when you become expert or you become more more like you want to become more professional. It's gonna be um more layers gonna come and be implemented. But yeah, so for now let's just stick with three layers: the presentation layer, the business logic layer, and the data layer. So for now, we're going to focus on the presentation layer, which is the and one of the technologies in the presentation layer is HTML, the very basic foundation. So we're going to start with here in Visual Studio Code. You can start with typing HTML here, and that Visual Studio Code is going to suggest and type everything for you for the very basic bootstrap code that you can use. It already has this metadata here for viewport. This I think should be for mobile. This one here is I don't know. This one here is for UTF-8. I also don't know. So the HTML is language, English. So first we are gonna start with H1. H1 here is like they're the family of for they are for headers, like they can use this for titles. And H1, you're gonna start with H1 header 1, and that is gonna be if you are gonna okay, so this is the index HTML. This is in your file explorer. If you're gonna click that, so this is the one that we typed here. H1 header 1. If you're gonna do a header H2, refresh that, so header 2 but smaller size, and H3 header 3, refresh that, yes, and smaller than H2 header 2, and that is until H6. So we don't have, well, we will not um, type all of those H or header elements there. So next is frequently used element is the B. This is for paragraph. So you can type here: the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So that is the P for paragraph. Another very common element used in HTML is the div. So the div element, this is for, it's like a kind of a division. I think that's the, I don't know what's the right meaning of that, but it's the div. So you can do layouts with div. So here is part of the layout, and then if you're gonna type in here part of the layout 2, so you're gonna type here 1. So if you refresh that, so there's a 1 and there's a 2. Later, when I introduce you with CSS, you can be able to manipulate this div using CSS. For example, you can put a class here, and then you can name this class here layout 1, and then you can put a layout 2 here. So this kind of thing here is what we call attributes. So this is the attribute for this element. So remember, these are elements, and then um, tags, or like how to describe an element, you can use attributes. So there are class, there are ID. These are the native attributes for an HTML. Usually ID is for programming or for adding functionality on your elements, and class is for styling. So for now, because you're still a noob, I'll just make this simpler. I will not add any attributes there. So next thing I'm gonna introduce to you is the lists. So for example, UL is an unordered list, and LI inside of it is a list item. So it's an item 1, item 2, and item 3. Next is you're gonna the next most frequently used HTML element is the for images. So this one here is the img, and then the source is, this will be the location of your image. So I don't have any example here for pictures, but yeah. So if I'm gonna put an JPEG here, then this will be present here. But maybe you can. I will post the post the this one here. Post this. Okay, let's continue. I already have a cat here, so if I type dot, then Visual Studio Code can scan through the directory, and then it's now presented here in the IntelliSense. You can select that cat there. If we go to our Explorer, our browser, and then refresh, there's our cat there. So cat, UL. So yeah, most of it are, yeah, I think these are the very, very basic elements that you can manipulate or use. Yeah, use. Okay, so next is, I'm gonna introduce you with the first. Let's change this title here. That title there is gonna be in this document here. If you refresh, it was changed to cat. Next is I'm gonna introduce you with styling. So that is the CSS. So to style is you can be able to manipulate all the HTML here and make this more beautiful. So what we can do is, so I'm going to create a new file called CSS style.css, and then we're gonna point that here, CSS and style.css in here. So here we're gonna change the font for the entire body. So let's go to body here. So this body is this element, so it doesn't have a dot on it, but later on I will introduce you to a class. So class has dots. So for example here, heading, our header. So this dot here is a representation. If the keyword here has dot, it's a class. Okay. So now we're gonna change the font family to maybe Tahoma. Okay. Um, so that is a font family. If you refresh this, so if you can see the font family changed. Next is for header. This one here is a class. Remember I told you about the class. So if you're gonna change that here to header, and then here you're gonna put color, so green, and if you refresh this, so it becomes green here. And next is so if you're gonna copy and paste this one here, this class here, it will change all to green. So if you wanna have this header too with a different color, you can put a dash there called red, and then you're gonna create a header dash red here. Then you're gonna change the color to red. If you refresh, it becomes red here. Next is so this layout here. This we wanna display them side by side. So if we go here, we can create a new div and then put this two inside that div. We're gonna create a class called raw, and then we're gonna create a class called column here. So if you change that to column, okay, so then we want to if you refresh that, still nothing happened, but when we start to style this, so this is the class row, you gotta define that class row there. Then for the class row, that column here, you're also gonna define the class here. The reason why I put them put the row beside the column beside the row, because and this is the old school way. I'm not sure with the new school way, but because currently I'm already using sassy cascading style sheet, and this is a very pure CSS that I'm teaching you right now, so I'm not sure if it's changed, but this is how we do it on the old school days. This one here, I'm gonna yeah, display flex. Display. Yeah, let's change the display to flex, and I believe that will automatically, yeah. See, it displays side by side. And for each column, we can add padding here. So padding goes to 10 px. Px is for pixels. So if you refresh that, so it gives a padding here. And then if we add a margin, you can add another margin. So if you refresh, it adds a margin. So what's the difference between a padding and a margin? So if, for example, the column here, we're gonna put a background color, say orange. We refresh that. So this one here, from the text to the edge of the to the border of the rectangle here, to the background is the padding, and this additional here is the margin of your column. So if I remove the margin here, this two background will be next to each other. See? So if you put a margin on that, so this is the margin here. Okay, so so I hope that's clear. So if we want to move this cat here on top of the header, it will also be moved there. Okay, and then this one here is a style sheet. If you want to remove the bullets here, you can do that in styles, ULLI. See, we don't put any dot here because we are selecting the HTML element, not a class. So here we can say the list style is none. So the style is none, and then we are gonna remove the padding, the default padding and margin of the UL. Okay, cool. See that? We can also add background to the body. So this body, like our column here, we can add style to it. So if we add a background color here, put the background color, choose a friendly background, maybe this one here, dark khaki. So if we refresh that, now it becomes a dark khaki. Wow, that's it. That's a very basic thing in HTML. So what's next? Um, yeah, this one here I'm typing. Don't mind with this one right now. This is Git. Um, doesn't involve doesn't it's not related to HTML, so don't worry about this. So next is maybe I can introduce you to JavaScript. Okay, so let's add JavaScript. So let's put app here, app.js, and then we're gonna reference that to usually the script or the JavaScript is element is added below the before the body ends. So we're gonna put that the script here, and the script is gonna, the source of the script is your JavaScript file. So this one here is the app.js, and we can close this CSS for now. And then let's open our app.js. So we're gonna add a functionality. Okay, so this is called a closure. I think so. Is it a closure? I don't know. And we try to console.log hello world. So this console.log is gonna um, display in the console of your browser. So here if I refresh, see the console, it consoles.log there. So what we want to do is we want to add a functionality. So here in the basic elements, I didn't add a button, so we're now gonna add a button here. Let's see, let's put it below the image cat, so the button here. Let's put save or act on me, like that. So if you refresh that, so there's an act on me. This is the button here, and then we're gonna we can add class also here, but for now we're gonna focus on the functionality. So yeah, this is not Angular. Okay, so what we can do is add an ID on that one, that button, button 1. So you're gonna name this ID is button 1, and then in our JavaScript we can how do we select in JavaScript? Well, all I know is jQuery. Oh man, I already forgot. I'm into React and Angular, and now I forgot how to do query. No, um, get element. Hey, hold on. Oh man, so yeah. Okay, so this button here, we can we are gonna use the document that get element by ID, and then our ID is gonna be the button 01. Then you can let, or maybe const button 01 here, then button 01 that on event listener on click event. Hey man, I forgot how to do this in basic JavaScript. On click like that. Let's try console.log. You clicked me, bro. Okay, so let's refresh this. Yeah, on click doesn't work. Yeah, I think you can. Sorry. On click maybe like that. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Alright, so let's try to remove this one first. Yeah, remove this first. Refresh that. Oh no! Unclick. Oh man, I'm already sleepy, man. Da 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 da. And take a time. Hashman's gold. Why'd you do this? If you can. There should be like a document, maybe document that add event listener. Yeah. Click maybe that, and then this is our callback here. Console.log. You are a clicker. Okay. Yeah, the button. Maybe like that. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, you're a clicker. So that's it. We are adding event listener to the button. We get the element by ID, so it's all happening here. So if we want to alert this hello world, okay, if we click that, then there's a hello world here. Okay, that's it for our very basic HTML, and hope um, hope that you find it very simple, and you can play with it from here or take it from here to study more. So yep, that's it. Right, cool, thanks. Or maybe you wanna hear me do some guitar? Or no. Bye.